service Chevrolet Cadillac. Our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Matthew Stafford's future with the Rams is up in the air, but when it comes to the team, their first goal is to have them be their quarterback. Coach Sean McVay told the Fitz and Wit podcast their intention is to have Stafford still be their starter, but they're trying to balance short-term and long-term roster decisions by giving his agent permission to speak to other teams about his market value. ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck.
I think the Rams are saying, we'd like you, but we're not sure the market is what you're claiming the market is. Go prove it. Now, here's the kicker. Sam Darnold is also represented by the same people. They're going to know the quarterback market, and they're going to be able to say, hey, this is what it is.
Saints GM Mickey Loomis indicated they will stick with Derek Carr as their starting quarterback in 2025. The Dolphins and Vikings, for a second straight year, earned top marks in the NFLPA's annual survey evaluating workplace environment. Rounding out the top five, Falcons, Raiders, and Chargers. The lowest-graded coaches, Cleveland's Kevin Stefanski and now former Jaguars coach Doug Peterson and now former Bears coach Matt Eberflus. Oklahoma has hired Senior Bowl director Jim Nagy as its football GM.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Thursday, Jim Harbaugh has said the Chargers need to level up around Justin Herbert. So which other teams need to level up around their QB? It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Go!
Scone. Hey, Scone, we're on. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Yeah. We're on. It's airtime. 3 o'clock.
We're on what?
On the radio.
Oh, we're doing a show now?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I mean, do I have to do the whole hump day and all that stuff?
It is hump day. The kids do love the hump day.
I don't care what the kids want right now. Do I have to do the whole I'm Matt, he's Paul, and all that everything?
It's part of the show. I like routine. Everyone likes routine.
I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
He's Paul.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
He's Muso. It's a hump day. Hump day. Yay.
It's hump day.
Hump day.
Mike.
Awesome.
What day is it, Mike?
We're all happy.
Day.
This is great.
It's hump day.
The best ever.
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Hump day.
Hump day.
It's hump day.
Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. They're really cool.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Okay, we can be done with that now. All right, start the show. Hit the thing. Hit the thing.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
here I was prepared to start the show talking about the possibility of Justin Fields being the Saints quarterback in 2025. While I'm not sure I actually believed that was really going to happen, when people around the league who cover the league start writing about possibilities for the New Orleans Saints at quarterback beyond Derek Carr, you start to think that they know the Saints' plan internally is to move on from Derek Carr, be it Justin Fields or Spencer Rattler or any damn body else. I had a full opening segment prepped to talk about anybody other than Derek Carr. What it would look like, what it would cost, who it could be, how it would play out, all of it prepped. And then Mickey Loomis, in his infinite wisdom, who, by the way, there were 2 NFL teams whose GM coach didn't speak on the dais to the media assembled. One of them, your New Orleans Saints, because these friggin' cowards go hide. They don't actually want to sit there and face tough questions with mics and cameras rolling, so they have a covert meeting with the New Orleans Saints media assembled in Indianapolis, and Mickey Loomis, coward that he is, sheepishly and passively commits to Derek Carr for 2025.
And I think Derek's always been a really, really good quarterback in this league. And we feel very fortunate to have him a part of this. I think we feel we got a guy we can win with, and we're excited about that.
Quotes from Mickey Loomis today at the Combine. Giving tacit approval to Derek Carr being back in 2025. Why? Why are you trying to ruin my Sundays? Why are you trying to ruin something that I love? Why are you trying to make me hate something that I have invested so much time, energy, passion, and love, part of my being in my entire friggin' life? Why are you trying to make me hate the New Orleans Saints? Because right now, I hate the New Orleans Saints. As long as they allow gum-smacking Mickey to run this show and bury my favorite team, I can't sit here for another year. I can't tell you honestly that I can sit there for 17 games next fall and watch a quarterback with mascara on who displaces blame for everything to everyone else all the time run my favorite team into the ground. I'm pissed off at Derek Carr for being who he is. I'm pissed off at Mickey Loomis for continuing to commit to Derek Carr. I'm pissed off at Kellen Moore for being a yellow belly. Dude hadn't coached a game already. Took this job, couldn't stand up to Mickey Loomis and say, I don't want Derek Carr. If ever you had the cover to move on, crash and burn in year one, it's right now. A decade of bad contracts. You're coming in at 36 years old. You have a grace period, a long grace period. And instead of saying, you know what? I'll take 3-14 year one if it means getting my franchise guy next year. You'd rather take 7-10 with Derek Carr. You'd rather just roll along with Mickey Loomis's plan. What more do you need to see? Somebody answer this question for me. What more do you need to see? Derek Carr has been a starting quarterback in the NFL for 11 freaking seasons. What do you think you're going to find out about Derek Carr in year 12 that the first 11 freaking seasons haven't already told you? Somebody answer me that freaking question right now. What do you think you're going to all of a sudden magically find with Derek Carr at 35 years old that you don't already know? He's a sub-500 quarterback for his career. 11 seasons. He's made the playoffs twice. He's the first quarterback in the history of the league to lose to 31 different teams. NFL.com just ranked the quarterbacks. They have him 24th. Fox just ranked the quarterbacks. They got him 24th. Before the season, PFF ranked the quarterbacks. They had him 21st. He is what I have said he is from the day they signed him. He is a lower mid-tier, upper bottom-tier starting quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, he's a starter. He's got a higher floor, but a lower ceiling that has been revealed to us through 11 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL. He is mid. He'll never be anything more than mid. And as long as this is your quarterback, you will never be anything more than mid. If you want to exist in this perpetual state of mediocrity and suck acidness, I just made that up. That's what you're going to be. At best, that's what you're going to be. You're never going to commit. You're never going to contend. You're going to be a team that lives there 7-8 wins, right on the brink of 500. Maybe in a bad division, you sneak into the playoffs and get bounced around. What is that what you want? That ain't what I want. The only reason that this is better than any alternative is this means they ain't going to draft Jalen Milroe. Because if they drafted Jalen Milroe, then I would burn every piece of Saints clothing I have. I'd never cheer for the franchise again. I mean, I guess Gail Benson don't care if you take her money and just set a freaking match to it. She didn't earn it. She just married a rich guy. Derek freaking Carr. And I knew it. I knew it. Deep down in my soul, like I knew this is what they were going to do. I knew this is what they were going to do. Like last year. I begged on air last year, don't restructure him. Don't restructure him. Eat it for one more year. Just eat it for a year and get rid of him. What did they do? They restructured him. And now, it's not financially prudent to get rid of him again. No matter when it happens, no matter when you part ways with Derek Carr, when that inevitable day comes, it's going to hurt financially because you gave a mid-quarterback a $150 million contract and you've already restructured it once because your GM sucks at his job. In no other professional sports league would a GM be this incompetent, miss the playoffs 4 straight years, have the worst cap situation, the worst draft record, all of this, all these X marks on the ledger, and keep his job. But here we are with the New Orleans Saints, the team that just happens to be my favorite team. Is this what it's like to be a Jets fan? Is this what I hear like Jets fans bitch about their lifetime of feeling like this? I get it now. I get it. If I had to deal with this for 30, 40, 50 years, I get it. And listen, I'm old enough to know what it was like to watch this team be complete teetotal dog poop. I remember Mike Ditka, Jim Hazelate. I was there for the Endemora when it went bad. Rick Venturi was the interim coach. Elated when Hakeem dropped the ball. Super Bowl run was incredible. Sean Payton was awesome, but I know what it was like. I'm old enough to remember Dalton in the Dome Patrol. No, I don't remember Danny Abramowitz running to a camera. Russell Erxleben kicking a ball backwards. Some of you OGs got me on that. But damn it, man, this is my life. My whole life as a Saints fan. I'm just bleeding emotionally right now. You go 15 years of an expectation of winning, and now you don't see a path forward. I'm stupid. I am stupid. Because I sat here the day Sean Payton retired, and I said, you know what? I'm grateful for Sean Payton because what he just did for 15 years elevated the expectation level of this franchise such that it will never get back to where it was before he was here. And boy, was I dead wrong. Because little did we know the cancer infestation, the yellow fungus under the toenail, was actually Mickey Loomis, who has no accountability whatsoever because Gail Benson's just going to let him do whatever the hell he wants. Blow the salary cap, ruin drafts, waste money on mid-quarterbacks, give bad contracts to old players, not re-sign your free agents. Y'all realize we just watched a guy, 2 players that were finalists for NFL Defensive Player of the Year. 2 players that the Saints drafted that Mickey Loomis couldn't re-sign because he hired a bad coach that didn't know how to use Zach Bond, and he mismanaged the cap so badly you couldn't pay Trey Hendrickson. How's that fit? Any other GM, that one of those gets you fired. This jackleg just keeps burning money, wasting talent. And now he's committing more to Derek Carr. You got the wrong guy at coach. You got the wrong head coach in Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore doesn't have enough of a sack to stand up to Mickey Loomis and say, what are we doing here? But I guess that's why he took the job. I guess that's why Mickey hired him. He hired a yes man who's just going to do whatever he says.
Oh, and we like that.
What was the quote again?
I feel like we got a guy we can win with and we're excited about. I think Derek Carr's always been a really good quarterback in this league. And we feel fortunate to have him part of this.
Fortunate. I'm about to become a fan free agent, man. But to turn in my fan card, as long as that guy is running this organization and the owner won't hold him accountable to anything, why are we wasting our time? Why are we wasting our time with this organization? Devastating. Derek Carr. Stop the mute. Get out of here. Just go to. I'm going to talk about something better. Just go.
After further review.
I need to cool down. Maybe I could take a dip in my pool. If you don't have a pool, Duplessis Builders can build you one. How about that transition? Sometimes you just got to move on. DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Thinking about building a pool, spring's coming along. Maybe you get your tax refund check. Invest that into your home. Maybe part of that's going to be to build that pool. Get in touch with Duplessis Builders. They'll walk you through the whole process. One of the first things you could do, go to the website, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. There's a tab on the top of the homepage that says Our Book. Derek literally wrote the book. There's a book. It's free. It's free download where you can learn about the entire process. It's your guide made for you so you know exactly what to expect throughout the entire pool building process. Pools, outdoor kitchens, your entire outdoor space. DuplessisBuilders.net.
Need service now? Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you same-day appointments for service, and we offer pickup and delivery of your vehicle from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. If you need sales and service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
John texts the show. I'm going to find a new team to support until Derek Carr is gone. Can we get Elon Musk to audit the New Orleans Saints? I don't think they need to be audited. I mean, we know what they're like. That ain't the problem. They got money. They got an owner that spends money. She's just letting a jackleg set a match to all of it. Bronson said, I've been a Saints season ticket holder for 23 years. I'm out. Done. See if he actually holds up his end of the bargain, but 23 years as a season ticket holder. Lane says Mickey Loomis doesn't have the balls to make tough decisions. Sean at 3:03 before I got started. Must be keeping Derek Carr. You know you're an AFR listener when. Yeah, so so at the Combine, every team has the opportunity, coach, GM, to take the podium, to speak on the dais in front of the assembled media and all that stuff. And the Saints passed on that opportunity. They didn't do it. They're one of two franchises that didn't. Instead, Mickey Loomis and Kellen Moore and Jeff Ireland met with the Saints beat writers that are there sort of covertly. And that's why there's no video or audio of this. It couldn't be recorded. So Ross Jackson from LouisianaSports.net is there. He was there for the availability. So he has a write-up at LouisianaSports.net right now if you want to read it, with a couple of quotes from Mickey's availability. Those were the quotes that I was reading if you weren't here in the open. But the write-up is there at LouisianaSports.net if you want to go read it. Saints committed to keeping Derek Carr as their quarterback in 2025. There was a piece today that I was referring to over at ESPN where I think it was Seth Walder was predicting every team's starting quarterback for 2025. Like, for example, he's got Kirk Cousins going to Cleveland Browns. He's got Shadur Sanders starting for the Raiders, hasn't drafted there. And for the Saints, he had the Saints' projected starting quarterback as Justin Fields. And so I'd looked into all these numbers. Spotrac has the projected market value for every player. And so Fields was on a one-year deal in Pittsburgh this year, and so he's a free agent. And so the point that I've been making for some time now about the Saints and what they could do moving forward is you have Spencer Rattler, you've got Jake Haener, but bring in a one-year veteran so you have at least a veteran presence in the quarterback room. But someone like Jimmy G, Jacoby Brissett, I guess Justin Fields, although Fields kind of feels like he's still young enough to have a higher ceiling to where if he lands in the right spot, right coach situation, maybe that could work. So not a terrible idea. But, that was sort of always what I had hoped that they would do is, and it's not a tank, it's just understanding, it's just an acknowledgement. It's an acknowledgement that Derek Carr is not going to get you where you want to go. Like, I got this tweet from D. Chung, who said he's the best quarterback on the roster, and it isn't close, but his contract makes it hard to justify one that shouldn't be kicked down the road, as the Saints usually do. Carr should be released. The Saints should bite the bullet. The cap hit. Which one thing that I've said is, like, he should, like, there's no doubt Derek Carr makes you better than anyone else on the roster. Like, I'm not, like, Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener. Like, it's undeniable, and I'm not saying anything to the contrary there. But the point that I've made since they signed him is he has a lower ceiling. So with Derek Carr, like, this was the tweet I was looking for from CMHAAR0375, whatever. He said, he replied to the tweet, said they're tanking for Nuss. No. You're missing the point. Having Derek Carr back in 2025 is the opposite of tanking. Because with Derek Carr, you're going to win just enough not to be in position to take a quarterback at the top of the draft next year. That's the problem. And I'm not saying here tank. I'm just saying acknowledge what you are. You know, like, tanking is intentionally trying to lose. I'm not saying intentionally try to lose. I'm just saying acknowledge what you are and stop leveraging your future to win now when you're not going to win anything of significance. I was okay, again, like, I've repeated myself on this so many times. And if nothing else, I've been consistent. And you cannot argue to the contrary. I have been so consistent on this since Breeze was still here. And everyone knew what the Saints were doing. We talked about cap hell and all that stuff, and I laughed at it because it didn't matter. You knew what you were doing. You were leveraging your future to win now with Drew Brees, and I was good with it. I was good with that approach. But you didn't win a championship. And now the bill is due. And you can't avoid it forever. And what the Saints keep doing is, as this mountain of debt continues to pile up, they just keep signing up for new credit cards with higher credit limits. Like, eventually you've got to stop spending. Like, you can't keep doing this forever. And that time has long been here. But the problem is this guy says, well, they're tanking for us. No, you're not. That's the problem. If you acknowledge Derek Carr isn't going to get you where you want to go, especially with this roster. Like, if I took Derek Carr and put him on the Eagles, who have the best roster in the NFL, that's a playoff team, no doubt. I mean, you could tell Derek Carr, hey, turn around and just hand it off to Barkley. Just give the ball to 26. You're going to win a lot of games that way. The Saints roster isn't anywhere close to it. So you're not tanking. Because with Carr, you're going to win just enough to not be awful. And you're going to put yourself out of position to take a quarterback at the top of next year's draft. So next year, you're going to be in this situation. You're going to miss playoffs again. You'll go 7-10. You'll miss the playoffs for a fifth consecutive year. You'll draft somewhere in the 13, 14, 15 range. And you're not going to get Arch or Nuss or whoever the top quarterbacks are in the draft next year. You're going to have a decision to make again next year about Derek Carr. Another year out of the playoffs. So what do? Smart organizations acknowledge what they are. The Saints can't do that because they're not a smart organization. They are not well run. It is just... It's just so sad to watch this. It's frustrating. It's everything. Like when you love something and it's so clear something needs to change, but you don't have the power to do anything to change it. That's what's going on with the New Orleans Saints right now. It sucks. It just sucks to watch it. No other way around it. So I don't know, man. I'll tell y'all. I got to sit here and watch the Saints next year, so I got to talk about them. But my emotional give a damn with this team until Derek Carr and Mickey Loomis are gone, I don't have it in me. Like, I don't have it in me to care emotionally if they win or lose, because there's an inevitability that's staring us all in the face. And I feel bad for guys like DeMario Davis, who sat with us at the Super Bowl and said, man, I want to play 3 more years. I think that's what it'll take to get the roster back. Well, guess what? You just pissed away another year of DeMario Davis's career. Congrats. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. More than 30 different locations across 13 different states. If you weigh or measure something, you got to get to know Michelli. They sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Our nation's largest distributor of scales. Man, there are different conferences and conventions and trade shows all over the country, seemingly every week. If you follow them on Instagram or on LinkedIn or Facebook, you'll see it there all the time. They always have their booth pictures. Anyway, the bottom line is I love this company. It's been around since the 1940s, rooted, born in New Orleans, and they maintain their local presence as they've continued to grow nationally, and they're still with ambitions to grow internationally. You weigh or measure something, they sell, service, rent the products you use to weigh and measure. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. We do have a lot to get to. Taylor Calandro for Bourbon Dictionary in about 15 minutes. I think I'm going to need a heavy pour tonight after this. Dixon McMakin, that's Representative Dixon McMakin to you, will be here in 45 minutes. We told you last week that the state of Georgia is proposing a law that would eliminate a state income tax on NIL deals, which would effectively allow student-athletes in Georgia who do NIL deals to keep more money in their pockets. Well, Representative McMakin is proposing similar legislation for Louisiana. He'll be in studio with us in about 45 minutes to explain everything that they got going on, why, what type of support he's got for it. So we'll get to that again coming up here in about 45 minutes. And Alex Milazzo will be with us in hour number 3. And we'll talk about LSU Dallas Baptist tonight from Arlington. All right, it's After Further Review. Ton to do, and glad you're here. We'll knock out a break, go around the SEC, including a real big shakeup. Our buddy Jim Nagy, who's been so good to us, he's leaving the Senior Bowl and heading to be the GM of an SEC program. We'll talk about that next at AFR.
After Further Review.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Y'all get on by, see our friends over at Rouse's, or get to the website. Hey, parades galore this weekend. Carnival time is here. Time is running out. Time is running out to get those king cakes. You can do it at Rouse's. Get by any Rouse's location. You're heading out to a parade or to your place of business, the kiddo's school, whatever it is. Bring king cakes. Will be the most popular person there. You want to have a king cake shipped, you can do that anywhere in the country, the lower 48, I should say. So if you live here, you want to ship it to a family member, a coworker, a client that lives out of state, or maybe you watch or listen out of state, you want a little taste of home, Rouse's can ship you that king cake. Just go to Rouse's.com, 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 and you'll see the little king cake right there on the flipper where you can go get whatever you need. Hey, whatever you need for to be out at the parade routes this weekend, you can get it at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Tiger basketball lost again last night. Rinse, repeat. We all know. I mean, they're not going to win again. They finished the final 5 games against top 25 teams, 3 against top 10 teams. The 2 road games are against ranked opponents. I mean, they're done winning. It's miserable. There's not much to say. They were within 3 of Tennessee at the half, and they ended up losing by 7 last night. They were down like 14, made a nice run at the end of the game at it, but it's what it is. If there's maybe one positive, McMahon did talk about the freshmen who have shown some growth this year.
I think all 3 have made great strides. Rob Miller, I thought, was fantastic again tonight. Unfortunately got in some foul trouble. Would have loved to have him out there more, but 9 rebounds. He's got 19 rebounds the last 2 games. We got to get him some help on the glass. 3 assists, just 1 turnover. He's really gotten better in our ball screen game as a roller there in the middle of the floor. And they blocked 2 shots, so he provides great rim protection there as well. Victorious, I thought, took higher quality shots tonight. His first 3 starts, I thought, took some really difficult shots. Therefore, his efficiency wasn't very good. And then Curtis, I think, you've seen, he didn't show up tonight. The assist to turnover, but I believe he was 13-2 in our recent games. Just doing a good job getting the ball where it needed to go.
By the way, he mentioned Victorious. That's Victorious Miller. That is the nephew of Percy Miller, a.k.a. Master P, a.k.a. That's UNO. I don't know what they're calling him. The VP of basketball operations or something like that. Master P. How about that? I mean, maybe the headiest play ever by UNO Athletics. They brought Master P in to run basketball operations. Yeah, I think there's probably a few businesses in the NO that are going to take his call. As he's trying to drum up sponsorship and NIL money, and then probably help in some recruiting efforts. Yeah, I think getting a phone call from Master P is probably going to help a smidge. Shout out Percy Miller. I kind of want to go play basketball for UNO now. You know what? UNO might be my new favorite team in New Orleans. Since the Pelicans stink and the Saints are trying to run me off, I think I'm going to start cheering for UNO now. That's what I'm going to do. Let's go private. My dad's a UNO alum. Let's go. It's time. I'm heading out to the lakefront from now on. What would it cost for me? Can we find out what it would cost me to buy season tickets to sit next to Master P at games?
I mean, you'd have to be on the bench, I think, at that point.
Let's go.
Right?
I don't care. What's that going to cost? Everything's got a price. What's it cost? What do they do it game by game? Give me one game on the bench next to Master P. What's that cost? I'll contribute to the UNO NIL fund. I got a few extra dollars lying around. Come on. Master P. That's so good. Do you think he'd be pissed if I sat next to him the whole game and just like, P, let me hear you say,
It might get old.
Just the whole time.
Yeah, over the course of 40 minutes, that might get old.
Yeah, it is, P. P, let me hear you say, I'm going to do it the whole game to him. Every time my privateers hit a 3, splash, P, let me hear you say, every time. Fast break dunk, P, let me hear you say, Awesome. It's the first time we've ever talked about UNO basketball on this show, ever.
I mean, for good reason. I mean, Master P's on staff now.
So good. Congrats to UNO. I don't know who the AD is. I don't know who the coach is. I don't know any players. Don't really care. Smartest thing UNO's ever done. I wish LSU had done it. Like, Victorious Miller's on the roster.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Go get P out. I mean, we see Boosie at games all the time. Let's get P. What are we doing? Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Oklahoma Sooners.
Jim Nagy, Senior Bowl Executive Director, heading to Norman. He's going to be their new GM. Incidentally, we had heard whispers last month that Jim Nagy was up for the same job for the Florida Gators. Didn't get it. Ultimately lands there in Norman.
The Florida Gators.
Steve Spurrier is joining the Florida staff. How about that? Oh, Steve Spurrier Jr. That's an important notation there. Steve Spurrier Jr. is joining the Florida staff. Son, of course, of the legendary coach. He'll be filling the vacancy left by former special assistant to the head coach Dan Enos, who left after last season. Spurrier Jr. has been the OC at Tulsa. He's also been at South Carolina, Oklahoma, Wazoo, Arizona, and the Washington football team.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee got a commitment from New Jersey edge C.J. Edwards, 6'5", 215. Picked the Vols over Boston College, Michigan, and Pittsburgh. The number 46 edge in the country, the 8th commit for Tennessee's 2026 class.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And South Dakota transfer offensive lineman Bryce Henderson has signed with Vanderbilt. Played his first 5 seasons for the, do you know what mascot they are? South Dakota?
That's not the Jackrabbits. That's the Bobcats?
The Coyotes.
Ah, man.
How's that? I didn't know that.
I was in the right neighborhood. Wrong house.
In that it was an animal?
And like a wild wilderness type animal, like coyote, bobcat. I mean, you don't just see those, I feel like coyotes and bobcats are similar.
No.
No?
The bobcat's a cat. It's a feline. The coyote is like a dog.
Yeah, I was about to say that's probably canine, yeah. Wolf, coyote.
Yeah, wolf, coyote.
Yeah.
Anyway, this guy played offensive line for South Dakota. Now he's going to Vanderbilt, which is on brand. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We're presented by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. When it's cold outside, you ever stand by a window when it's cold outside and you can just feel that cold air? It's like drafty windows, right? Well, that's what happens when you have air leaks, when your windows aren't sealed tightly, if they're not fit for the exact specifications of your home. Well, Relief Windows, they measure twice, install once, so every custom window is made exactly for the specification of your home. They're the best. It's Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. And remember, you buy once and you're done forever. Lifetime transferable warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage at Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Taylor Calandro is coming up here in just a quick second. We'll do Bourbon Dictionary. Got booze questions. Get them in. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400. 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways you can get your questions in. The Jim Nagy thing is interesting. Jim Nagy leaving the Senior Bowl to go be the new GM at Oklahoma. I tell you, I think it's a bold move for Jim. Look, Oklahoma is obviously an historic college football program and brand and all that sort of stuff. It's just an interesting time to make this move because OU was 6-7 this year. And Brent Venables is very much on the hot seat. So, you're leaving a job. Look, it checks a lot of boxes. Jim was a longtime NFL scout before he took the job at the Senior Bowl. He's got great NFL connections. He's got great connections with agents, other schools around the country. Obviously, he has to go recruit players to come play in his game at the Senior Bowl, recruiting players to come play at Oklahoma. There's a lot of synergies there. Can he raise money? He did have to go get sponsorships for the Senior Bowl, and that was part of his job as well as the executive director. So there are a lot of commonalities there that make sense. I just really look at this and go, it's just interesting timing to go to that place where the coach is on the hot seat, because another 500 season this year at OU, and Venables potentially out the door, is Jim Nagy out the door as well. Just an odd time to make that leap to that job. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a break. Taylor Calandro will be here. Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit them online at yourgoodwood.com. That's yourgoodwood.com. Bourbon Dictionary with Taylor Calandro is next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel. Two amazing hotel properties, the Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. Hey, remember parades, of course, all this weekend. If you're going to be downtown, you can always pop on into the Watermark Hotel. The lobby bar there at the Watermark is exquisite. So if you need a place maybe to grab a cocktail, glass of wine, a cold beer, something like that before one of the parades, you can always pop into the Watermark Hotel. If you're looking to dine, the Gregory right there in the lobby of the Watermark Hotel is amazing. If you go around the corner, they actually have Milford's on 3rd as well. So it's the 3rd Street entrance to the Watermark Hotel. Milford's is a little more casual sandwich shop. Great place to grab a quick bite if you need to during the parades this weekend or any time that you're downtown. Just make sure you check in and check out the Watermark Hotel, downtown Baton Rouge. It's Watermark Baton Rouge, downtown.
Need service now? Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you same-day appointments for service, and we offer pickup and delivery of your vehicle from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. If you need sales and service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
Wrapping up hour number 1. Yo, dude, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Matt?
I've been better. I don't know if you saw today, but Mickey Loomis effectively said they're bringing Derek Carr back next year, and that sucks. So I'm really sad about that.
Yeah, dude. I was the same way with Derek Carr when they signed him. He the same way you are. I've heard you talk about him, and he's just that's terrible.
Yeah, I think everybody's heard me talk about him by now. I yell a lot about that, but
he's just not good. He wasn't good when he got here.
I know.
So.
Hey, if I wanted a really, really stiff pour tonight to drown my sorrows, what should it be?
Well, stiff, not super stiff. I do have a new Yellowstone Toasted 101. It's bonded.
I do love a good toasted barrel whiskey.
Yeah, so I went to California this weekend. My brother got married, and I saw this bottle at one of the airport bars. I can't remember what airport we were at, but and we got it a few weeks ago, and I hadn't got to try it. It's relatively inexpensive, but man, it's good. It's $50. I think it's around $50. But I was pleasantly surprised. And it's fairly new, like I said. But yeah, I tried it this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else new?
We got a new Luxro 4-grain that I haven't got a chance to try. I think it's in the $80 range. I've had some other Luxro special release. I had a Luxro 12-year a few years ago that was barrel proof. That was really, really good. But I haven't got to try this one. Nothing much else in the whiskey that I can think of. No.
All right. Let's see. Get your questions. You can email us, tweet us, text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Joshua Abshire should ask Taylor, SoCo and lime or a buttery nipple?
I have a soft spot in my heart for SoCo and lime, so SoCo and lime.
Okay. Sean said, ask Taylor, how much Bud Light should Matt drink to drown the sorrows of Derek Carr staying in New Orleans? How many would it take? I mean, it probably depends. Like if I had an empty stomach, cracked it open right when I woke up, or if it was right after I had like a big meal or something like that. Probably.
It takes me a lot of Bud Light to get where I'm going, but it would probably take. I think you probably have the same tolerance as I do, so it would probably take you a lot. But that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it just means you got to drink more of it.
Yeah.
Calorically, maybe not the best.
Not the best. No.
Honestly, dude, that's one of
beer is never good calorically.
I know. It's one of the reasons why I started drinking whiskey 10 years ago, whenever it was. It's because when I would drink beer, it was that problem. It was like, I'd need to drink 10 beers, right? And I was like, what if I could just drink 1 ounce of something or 2 ounces instead of 10 beers? That's
kind of how my brain started. I think that's how a lot of people evolve in alcohol.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they necessarily start with big, heavy beers and stuff like that, but I started thinking the same way because I used to be able to drink a lot of beer and be okay, and then it started getting to the point where I couldn't drink a lot of beer and be okay the next day. Like it was just wearing me out. So.
Metabolism, it's a bitch.
Anyway,
I'll tell you.
Yeah, man, it is terrible.
I do love a good cold, but I really do. I mean, I've told you before. Like most nights, I'll go home and just crack open. I'll grab a Bud Light and drink a beer with dinner, no matter what I'm eating. Like most nights, I'll do that. I just love to have a cold beer at the end of the day.
You see, my taste buds in beer is kind of gone back to very simple styles of beer like that too.
Yeah.
So that's what I was drinking all week, and I don't know if it was because the weather was perfect. I didn't want anything heavy, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway. Ashley said, ask Taylor, what's your opinion on the distillery Acadian Bonvale? Bonvale? How do you say that? I don't know.
Distillery Acadian Bonvale. I haven't tried that specific one from them, I don't think. I'm trying to. I tried a local one like a week or two ago, and I think it might have been them, but I can't remember now.
Okay. Chris Burke said if Derek Carr was a bourbon, which one would he be?
Oh, my God. He would be, speaking of local distilleries, LA1. the original recipe. LA was just still an atrocity of a. It is. If people know, they know. It is just world class terrible.
For those that don't, it was a local distillery. They've got to be out of business now, right?
No, I think they've rebranded it, and actually, I don't think the liquid's bad at all.
Okay, whatever that original LA one was grade A, awful. I mean, it was one of the worst things I've ever consumed in my life.
There's been several locals that I've tried that have just been absolutely terrible. That's definitely one that's very memorable.
Taylor Calandro from Calandro's. You can go check him out there on Government Street, not far from where we are right now. Wine Spirits Director over there. I'll need to pop in and see you sometime soon, man.
We're close.
Miss chopping it up a little bit. We get to do every Wednesday here, which is great. All right, man. Have a great one. We'll chat next week.
All right, man. See you.
All right. Be well. By the way, the last whiskey raffle of the year that we always participate in is the S&P whiskey raffle. S&P right there on Nicholson across from Tigerland. It's coming up on Tuesday. I always do it Mardi Gras Day. I MC the raffle. You can get your tickets online. I posted the links everywhere. You don't have to be present to win.
AFR.
We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, because that's what First South Farm Credit has done for more than 100 years. I love telling you about the patronage refund. I mean, what a cool thing to be able to do. This year, I should say in 2024, at the end of 2024, the patronage refund paid out $25.5 million to their borrowers. This effectively reduces your cost of borrowing by about 1%. So, for example, if your rate is 5%, you're actually paying 4% after the patronage refund. Look, this is a great time to call our friends over at First South Farm Credit. Tax season's right around the bend. While it's top of mind, buying timber property as a landowner, you're going to incur expenses. This could be a great tax benefit. Ask your CPA, and then call our friends at First South Farm Credit.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages, and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, Our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Rams coach Sean McVay told the Fitz and Wit podcast their first goal is to have Matthew Stafford remain their starting quarterback, but the franchise is trying to balance short and long-term roster decisions by letting his agent speak to other franchises about his market value. Stafford set to earn $27 million this year. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody.
If it's about money, pay the man. I mean, the man is more than worth it. And if you're Matthew Stafford, obviously to me, this is the ideal situation. You're playing indoors, you're playing in a division you can clearly win, and the team is pretty good around you. So I can't make sense of this from either side, to be honest with you.
Saints GM Mickey Loomis indicated they're sticking with Derek Carr as their starting quarterback in 2025. The 49ers have started negotiations with quarterback Brock Purdy on a contract extension, according to GM John Lynch. Baseball, Philadelphia's Bryce Harper suffered a bruised right triceps when he was hit by a pitch in today's spring game. He's expected to be okay. Houston's Jose Altuve will make his spring training debut Friday in left field. Houston's got an opening in left after trading Kyle Tucker to the Cubs this offseason.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Thursday, Jim Harbaugh has said the Chargers need to level up around Justin Herbert. So which other teams need to level up around their QB? It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Milazzo. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. A representative Dixon McMakin in 13 minutes. That would be the voice of the Cali High Bears, Dixon McMakin, here in 13 minutes. This will not be Catholic High grandstanding after we did, in fact, win another state championship this weekend. Indoor track, no big deal. But he's, as a state representative, Representative McMakin is introducing legislation to match what Georgia is doing that would eliminate state income tax for NIL deals. Talk about that. Impact, support for it, all that stuff that's coming up here in a bit. LSU is going to begin spring practice here in about a week or so. And we're going to get a look at a lot of newcomers. You know, this portal class, which is much ballyhooed, number one portal class in the country. And it was interesting. I don't really love lists. I don't really care about lists and rankings. It's just someone's subjective opinion, and sometimes it's really just a launching point to talk about a bigger topic. And there's a guy over at CBS who put together a list. It was like 10 newcomers for the SEC for 2025. I think more than how they're ranked or whatever, it's more, I think, important to look at, okay, what does something like that, an exercise like this, tell us? And of the 10 players listed, 3 are from LSU. Josh Thompson, the offensive lineman from Northwestern, Nick Anderson, the receiver from Oklahoma, and Patrick Payton, the edge from Florida State. The only other SEC school with multiple players on the list was Auburn. Xavier Chaplin, an offensive tackle, and Eric Singleton, a wide receiver. So I think what this maybe tells us more than anything, it's an illustration of how different teams are approaching the portal. Like, we've talked plenty about what LSU did in the portal, and we've celebrated it. It's awesome, and you should be excited about it because, I mean, LSU went out and signed the number one portal class in the country. They added a whole bunch of impact dudes. They spent a ton of money in NIL. They effectively did in the portal what Ole Miss did a year ago, what Ohio State did a year ago. They went and scraped off the top of the portal class and got the cream of the crop and added them to this roster that's already got returning your fifth-year senior quarterback, your top receiver, your leading running back. Harold Perkins is back. Jacobian Guillory's back. Whit Weeks is back. Like, a lot of reasons to be really, really excited. So all that's true. Well, what do we know about the rest of the conference? Because ultimately your path to the playoff, your clearest path to the playoff is winning your league. So what does the rest of the league look like? What's interesting on this list in particular, Missouri, Auburn, Oklahoma, LSU, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Those were the schools represented. Texas, which was a playoff team a year ago, did not have a player on this list. Tennessee, which was a playoff team a year ago, did not have a player on this list. Alabama, which has been burning since the day Nick Saban left, continues to erode a roster with Kalen DeBose. Did not have a player on this list. Georgia had one, Zachariah Branch, the wide receiver from Southern Cal, who's now going to Athens. But, you know, how much of a step back does Georgia take? It's going to be interesting to see. I'll tell you, the player that I think, the one transfer in the SEC that I think is the maybe most impactful or the most interesting, maybe the most important, that's probably a better way to say it, is John Mateer, the quarterback from Washington State, who's going to Oklahoma. This, to me, has massive, wide-reaching significance. So Mateer was one of, if not the top quarterback in the portal this year. Had a good season last year at Washington State. Now he's going to Oklahoma. But it's not like it's one of those things where he's going to Oklahoma to be a multi-year starter and to try to build and regrow. He's going to be, boom, an immediate impact guy to get that thing back in the right direction. Because Brent Venables showed up, went 500. The next year they bring in Dylan Gabriel. He wins 10 games. And remember, we talked about it all offseason. They had a quarterback in Dylan Gabriel that won 10 games, was coming back for a super senior season. And Brent Venables and that lot over there in Norman said, we appreciate you. But the 5-star behind you, Jackson Arnold, like, we're going with that guy. So if you want to play college football another year, great. It's just going to have to be somewhere else. So he goes to Oregon. They go undefeated. They win the conference, make the college football playoff. Dylan Gabriel's a Heisman finalist. Meanwhile, Jackson Arnold, the 5-star, gets benched. Oklahoma goes 6-7, and now Jackson Arnold's at Auburn. I mean, that is a massive, massive whiff. I'm not telling you OU last year would have been a contender with Dylan Gabriel, but they would have been better than 6-7. So now, Brent Venables says, all right, let me fix this in a hurry. So you go into the portal, get arguably the top quarterback in the portal, and you're expecting him to come in and make an immediate impact for this team. That, for me, is the most important transfer in the SEC this year. Because LSU plays at Oklahoma in the final regular season play-in date on Thanksgiving weekend. But if this doesn't work, right? If John Mateer can't get Oklahoma back into whatever, and I don't cover Oklahoma. I don't know internally what their conversations are like. Like, what's the number Venables has to get this year? Does he have to get to 8 or 9? Does he have to get to 10? I don't know. But if he can't, if he comes in and flops and can't get OU back into contention or whatever is respectable, is Venables fired? Like, is Oklahoma looking for a new coach? And the guy they brought in to replace Lincoln Riley is out in 4 years, and now they're looking for a new coach again after having so much stability for so long with Stoops and then Riley, and now all of a sudden you're spinning your wheels a little bit. So that's one I think is just massively, massively important for not only the SEC, but for all of college football in 2025. But LSU's going to be on the practice field coming up here in just over a week as they'll get started with spring ball, the fourth spring under Brian Kelly. You'll have all the new transfers coming in. DJ Pickett as a freshman early enrollee who was going through some bowl practices. Harlan Berry, all the early enrollees are going to be on campus. It's going to be fascinating to watch this LSU team as they start to mold that clay into what the finished product's going to look like for a team that has playoff and championship expectations here in year 4 under Brian Kelly. And it's all going to begin with spring. And a lot of these transfers like Josh Thompson, and Nick Anderson, and Patrick Payton, we're all anticipating Anderson's going to be an immediate impact guy offensively. Patrick Payton should be on the field for the first defensive snap against Clemson in week 1. Josh Thompson is going to be starting for you on the offensive line, first snap against Clemson. It's just a matter of is it at guard or tackle. Those are the types of things we're going to start to figure out when LSU hits the field for spring here in a little more than a week. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by Supper Club, supperclubbtr.com to get that reservation, y'all, supperclubbtr.com. Love telling you about Supper Club. They'll be opening up here in less than an hour from right now. Supper Club on Perkins. Remember, it's always open seating at the bar. I like to remind you of that because a lot of people know sometimes it's very hard to get a reservation at Supper Club, and that's true, but it's not impossible. And they did open seating at the bar over the summer. So you can walk in on any given day and just head on up to the bar, and you can grab a cocktail, you can grab a bar stool, have dinner at the bar. Sometimes there's bar tables that open up. But listen, if you want to have that incredible dining experience to celebrate a birthday, an anniversary, a promotion, whatever may be coming up in your life that's worth celebrating, if you've never been to Supper Club, it's time. It's time to go experience it. If you've been, but it's been a while, it's time to get back and check out the new menu items. I'm telling you the thing I love telling you about all the time. So many of the great appetizers, but the veal parmesan is exquisite. Yes, you can go in for a world-class steak, a one-of-a-kind steak experience, which I love to have every time, but I'm telling you, that veal parm is awesome. They bring the veal chop to your table without the marinara and the parmesan. They bring that in a black skillet, and the cast iron skillet, and they lay it over the veal chop there tableside. The presentation, the experience at Supper Club is just unmatched. SupperClubBTR.com, SupperClubBTR.com for your reservations. All right, y'all, it is after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here, but we got a ton to do today. LSU baseball is going to take on Dallas Baptist tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Alex Milazzo, 1 hour from right now, former Tiger catcher Alex Milazzo will be with us, get his thoughts on the Tigers so far early this season. We'll talk a little bit to him. Looking forward to catching up with Alex a lot throughout the season as well. As we had Will Helmers with us yesterday. A lot of these guys are going to be joining and contributing to the show throughout the course of the year, so we're looking forward to that. When we come back, this is a significant story for a lot of reasons. As the NIL landscape continues to change, the revenue share landscape continues to change. Louisiana lawmakers are trying to keep pace in ways that they can. Representative Dixon McMakin is going to join us in studio next, talk about some legislation he's proposing to help Louisiana student athletes keep more NIL money in their pockets. We'll talk about it next at AFR.
AFR.
If you are a business owner, I need you to listen up. A business owner, an HR manager, a hiring manager, an operations manager, if you're the person in your business that's responsible for finding the right people for the business, you need Glow Resources. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Listen, if you're driving down Perkins Road, right near Pennington, you can't miss the giant Glow Resources sign. That's where their corporate headquarters are. And I say corporate because Glow Resources has expanded to have offices all over the Southeast. But at Glow Resources, they're not just confined here into Baton Rouge. At Glow Resources, they can do work for you and help you find employees for any type of job and any type of business all over the country and all over the world. So check them out online and start there. It doesn't matter if you need an engineer for a job in Asia, or you're looking for someone for staffing here in Baton Rouge. GLO, glowresources.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
A couple weeks ago, we had a story around the SEC. The state of Georgia has proposed legislation that would eliminate state income tax for student athletes on their NIL deals. And I yelled on air, hey, some Louisiana representative, let's do something similar. And then I called out Dixon McMakin because I know him. I've known him for a long time. I said, hey, you've been eating great in 68. How about you go propose this legislation? But lo and behold, he'd already drafted the legislation, which is good to see. He's in studio with us now. How are you, dude?
Hey, great. Hey, thanks for that Supper Club ad you just had. Supper Club,
so good,
great in 68. So thanks for that. Yeah.
Dude, it's so good.
How about that?
It,
you went last week?
You've been. Yeah, okay,
last week.
Of course you've been. Yeah, it's, what's your go-to?
The bread.
The rolls, like it's like the appetizer, like one of the appetizers, like a pan of dinner rolls, which are exquisite. And you'll get like this, what's the sweet butter? What is that sweet butter?
It's amazing.
Like cinnamon. Oh,
it's amazing.
All right, we're going to go off on this tangent. Anyway, okay, so go back to when you had the idea to draft the legislation. What was the impetus for it?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we saw was Georgia, Alabama, and Illinois. There's a guy on Twitter, Minter Sports, that tweets these things out. And so I follow him, my tailgate group, the PGA Tailgate guys. Hey, Dixon, other states are doing this. We're going to be left behind if we don't get on this track. So I put in the request in February 3rd to do that as well. You think about it like this, Matt. Texas doesn't have income tax. Texas A&M. Tennessee doesn't have the state income tax. Tennessee, Vanderbilt. Florida doesn't have it. University of Florida. So now you add in there that Georgia has a bill. Alabama has a bill. So that's Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia. And then Illinois is coming on board too. LSU and all of our Louisiana universities are going to get left behind if we don't take action. And so that's our goal, the 3% state income tax. Last year, the legislature, we made it consistent across the board, 3%. If this passes, state income tax will not be an issue for student athletes anymore.
Okay, so Georgia, Auburn, Bama, A&M, Texas, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Florida. That's half the league,
right?
Right, that wouldn't deal with. Make the numbers make sense for somebody going, okay, well, why that 3%? Why is that significant?
Here's the practical thing. You mentioned it, Catholic high school. I know a lot of recruits that go around, go to Texas, go to Florida. From a recruit to me in that meeting, hey, if we give you NIL money here in Texas, you don't have to pay state income tax on it. You're going to get a couple extra $1,000, but here than if you stayed in Louisiana. So they are actively using that against our universities right now. when they're trying to recruit our kids out of our state to go somewhere else, and we can't let that happen anymore.
So, like, for example, if someone had a $100,000 NIL deal, it's $3,000.
Correct.
That stays in your pocket, which may not seem significant, but I don't know. It's my money. I want my money.
Exactly.
Think if you even scale higher than that, like we know some deals have gone into the high 6 and 7 figures.
There's not a lot of those, so I have some great sources in the NIL world that are helping me, making sure that this is not going to get too elaborate out there. You know, I've already been hit up by people, oh, these millionaires, these kids that are millionaires. There is so few of those. You can probably count them on one hand in the state of Louisiana that are getting that. Okay, let's just practically break it down. There's 435 student athletes at LSU. Let's just say each of them got a $10,000 NIL deal. Well, you're looking at the end of that, saving the 3%, the state's going to miss out on potentially $130,000. But if you're bringing in the
What's
best.
the state budget?
State budget, billions.
Okay.
$21 billion, I believe.
Okay.
But if you're bringing in kids that are going to win you championships, I brought it for you right here. University of Alabama during the Saban years. Remember those years?
Yeah.
07 to 22?
Unfortunately.
Enrollment went up at University of Alabama 51%.
Yeah.
They increased their endowment by $1 billion. LSU athletics every year, just at LSU, $500 million economic impact to the state of Louisiana. And you think they're doing that when they're going 1-10 in the SEC? I don't think so.
I mean, it's true that look, I think we all know this, right? Every business in this city, in this state, does better when LSU wins. That is universal, blanket. I cannot imagine an exception.
Right.
Like, everything is better when LSU wins. And to the concern about so would you say one of the objections you hear from people is, well, the state's missing out on that money for these kids making millions? So you've heard that objection?
It's a small objection. The other objection is, hey, why are you picking them? You know, we have a state income tax. Why are you picking winners and losers? And I'll tell them this.
What do you mean?
Why are you just picking them to not have to pay the state income tax? Why should we not maybe make it ugly radio host shows, guys? Like,
or
how
about we just get rid of the state income tax?
Well, and that's the goal. That's the vision to get there.
That would be great.
We reduced it last year to 3% for everybody. We're doing a lot of tax stuff. I know you don't like to talk politics, but we're going to get it back to sports.
My money is in politics.
Yeah.
My money is my money. So if you're talking about getting me ways I save my money, yes, I'm for that. Yeah. I don't think we should have. I mean, our country was founded with. We were a nation founded because we were pissed off about paying taxes. Like, we didn't have the IRS. We didn't have an income tax until the 1900s.
Could you imagine what those tea throwers would think about our tax system today?
Right? Seriously, bro. I mean, don't get me started on get me started on my money. So we got a different conversation.
That's been the biggest objection is, hey, why are you picking just these people to start with? And I'll tell you this. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. This is where I'm choosing to take my bite because you can practically see the economic impacts that come from this. And it's not an LSU football bill. That's another thing I'm getting tired of hearing. I only care about LSU football. Well, people know me. I'm a big LSU baseball guy. Dad played baseball there. I was a bat boy. It was awesome. Hey, but this is Louisiana Tech. This is Grambling. This is ULA. This is Southeastern, Northwestern, Nichols, Tulane, UNO. You're going to be Master P giving them that NIL money, Matt? Yeah, this NIL money is going to go more to those UNO basketball players.
My guy just dropped a ULA. I mean, I tell you what, you want to run for governor one day, you better hang on to that, bro. And the Acadiana people ain't going to like that. Trust me, I know. But to your point about the objection, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Look, even if someone did $1 million NIL deal, okay, which, I mean, like you said, there's not many of those. 3% of $1 million is $30,000. What if $30,000 is one of the deciding factors that gets you to keep this player that helps you win?
Yep.
What is $30,000 to our state's economy? You know what I mean? Like, it is such a minor thing on a macro level that's a major thing on a micro level that helps. So, yeah, so what do you think is, and Dixon McMakin is in studio with us, representative from District 68. What do you think is the appetite within the legislature to support this?
Yeah, I think it's going to be high because every one of our representatives represents an area with a university that's going to benefit from this. All over the state, all the different colleges. That's why we got to get away from the narrative. I just happen to represent LSU, 3 degrees, love LSU. People know that about me. But this is for all those kids, all those opportunities all over the place of our state that they are competing with other states. And practically speaking, we know it's happening. It's going to continue to happen. And the little stat I found, too, I don't think people realize it. You know, there's a federal law that Olympic athletes don't pay taxes on their winnings. How about that?
So
why do you think we do that one?
Not Olympics. Well, you mean Olympians.
Olympians. Yeah. How about that?
Why don't we do that?
Why don't we do that?
I don't know why.
Because we support champions. We want to promote that. We want to be the best we can when it comes to other countries. And if someone could maybe have a citizenship here and the money's going to be better for them here, maybe we can have them compete for the USA.
So Olympic champions don't. So
up to $1
obviously
million, they do not pay federal income tax.
So on their so like the U.S. Olympic Committee, like if you win a gold medal, there's I don't know what the number is, but like you get money. You win a medal, you get money from the USOC. So they don't pay tax on that money.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Bald radio hosts, we need to get that enacted as well, to where bald radio hosts do not pay tax on their money as well. Is there anything? Is there anything else within the state legislature as it pertains to NIL or college athletics, revenue share, all the stuff we're talking about right now, that is on your radar, or other people's radar?
Yeah.
Because I think, and I'm sorry if I just I think the qualifier to ask that, Dixon, is, I mean, you are still talking about state universities. So like our state budget, while the athletic department operates independently, the LSU athletic department doesn't receive a state subsidy. You're still talking about things that are interwoven with our state government, the budget, and everything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you looked at a few years ago, LSU Athletics actually gave money back to the university to help subsidize in a way because they were making the money. Well, they cut that out. Other universities, LSU Athletics might be self-sufficient. Other universities are not.
Yeah.
Athletic programs are not. So we know that around the other state. But you mentioned NIL. Senator Talbot had a bill, I believe, last year where we put in trigger laws that said, hey, no matter what happens out there, if the NCAA comes down, if Congress comes down, whatever that might be, we can stay ahead of any law and we can be adaptable. So we didn't put in place any concrete rules when it comes to what a student athlete can or cannot do, the contracts, all these other things you're seeing right now. Louisiana is in a great spot. And what I think is going to happen with this bill puts us even further ahead of those other schools that we're competing with. You just mentioned about Ole Miss and the rankings and things like that with the transfer portal. And if you don't think it's happening, another critique I think I've heard, Matt, is I hate it. I hate NIL. It's ruining college sports. It's unbelievable. Look, I get it. I hate it too, but I don't care because that's the field we play in now.
Yeah.
And either you want to be a champion in the field you play on or you're going to be left off to the side. And I'm not a guy that's going to be left off to the side. Bold, positive change. That's what we're going to continue to bring to Louisiana. We're open for business, and we also want to tell the student athletes that are in our state, whatever you want to do, hey, let's stick around. Let's make Louisiana great.
When is the session where this would be so this will come to the floor for a vote, I guess?
So we've got to go through
what's
committee.
What's the process?
Yeah, April 15th session opens up. Bills go to a committee. So this will go to the Appropriations Committee. They'll look at it in House Committee. It'll be in the House floor. It'll go over to Senate, Senate Finance, Senate floor. And then I honestly am expecting zero opposition from any rep or any senator because I don't know how they could go back to their local university and tell them, I'm trying to help you retain talent, get the best here, and they're going to vote against that. So I'm shooting for an unopposed bill, and then it'll head to the governor's desk, and I think we'll have great support from Governor Jeff Landry.
I think he would sign it.
Yep.
I think so. So April 15th is the session. We'll follow it as it goes along. It's an interesting time, man. Is there anything else before we go that I've missed that people need to know? You got papers, you got notes. I just want to make sure I dot all my I's and cross my T's.
It's for the great state of Louisiana. I think that's the biggest point of this, and that we're competing with the other states. And I would not be surprised if you see Mississippi, Arkansas, and the other states that don't have this. They're going to be trying to now catch up to Louisiana and what we're doing.
Representative Dixon McMakin, always eating great.
There it is.
In District 68.
Thanks, man.
This would be really good, man. I hope you have no opposition. I hope it passes easily. It makes too much sense, and I'm glad that it's moving forward. Thanks for the time, as always.
Thank you.
Give me one.
Go Bears!
Or Cali! Give me one, Muse. Give me one, Muse.
Go Bears.
Oh, we got one.
Finally, the Barbie girl.
Oh, my God, how about that? Incredible. We got a little participation today. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. The NFL Players Association has graded every franchise. So this is the players grading their own franchise anonymously. I'll tell you what the Saints players said about the Saints next.
AFR.
Is there a Cleggs in District 68?
No.
Segan? No, that's not.
Too far north.
Yeah.
Too far north.
There should be.
Yes.
Got to get a Cleggs over District 68. But there's 4 Cleggs locations. Segan near Airline, LA 16 in Dedham, Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Oh, great time right now to get by Cleggs. You know it's always inevitable. We're getting to March. We're always going to have one more cold snap. But spring is going to be here fully sprung before you know it. And you got to make sure that you're proactive. So, like, right now is the time. If you're thinking of planting that vegetable garden, that spring vegetable garden, get Johnny Naylor seeds in the ground right now. They get seeds arriving daily. They got them. Just walk into Clegg's, go to the back wall. You see floor to ceiling, full wall of Johnny Naylor seeds. Great event for the whole. It's a fun exercise for the whole family. Get you outside, get your hands in the dirt, something you can do together as a family all spring. It's Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Join us at the Louisiana Outdoor Expo at the Lamar Dixon Expo Center from March 14th through the 16th. Head over to the front to back booth and register for your chance to win a U10 New Canoe, a compact, versatile kayak, perfect for fishing and hunting adventures. Visit 1045ESPN.com for details. Really should have read through that one first.
Muse, unprepared. Shocker. No, I'm just kidding.
What was it again? Get out of here with that.
What was it again?
The Louisiana Outdoor Expo, Lamar Dixon, from March 14th through the 16th. Head over to the front to back booth and register for your chance to win a U10 New Canoe, a compact, versatile kayak, perfect for fishing and hunting adventures.
Got it.
Visit 1045.com or 1045ESPN.com for more details.
I know why you kind of tripped over.
No, you don't.
Hey, Paulie.
Yes.
What time is
it? It is 4:34.
Means we're halfway home, boys.
15 minutes, give or take. probably start.
Yeah, he was a little busy during that last segment there.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I bet he did appreciate the distraction of having Representative McMakin in studio with us.
I would say so, yes.
Eating great in District 68. All that did was give Muse the munchies.
No.
No. I just nosing through your trash. On a little Muse. The timing is questionable.
It just, sometimes you need to read through the promos first. Sometimes there's some tricky language in it, from time to time.
The UFL and the XFL, they merged for the UFL. And they're adopting the dynamic kickoff this year. The onside kick there is already dead. Last year, they did a 4th and 15 from the 25. Well, they're modifying that this year. So instead of an onside kick, a 4th and 12 from the 28 is their modification now. Instead of 4th and 15 from the 25, 4th and 12 from the 28, changing the distance by 3 yards. UFL, they're fully embracing it. I hope next month the NFL embraces this as well. I think it's a good idea. You have to have some opportunity to steal a possession. The surprise element is gone with the onside kick, but you still have to have the opportunity to retain possession somehow. But here's what's really interesting, and I think this dynamic will change the game. So in 2024, the 4th down conversion rate in the NFL, Washington led the NFL at 78.9%. Dallas was the worst at 35%. Now, keep in mind, a lot of 4th downs are 4th and 1, 4th and inches. You're running a sneak, the tush push, all that stuff. So you're going to have a higher conversion rate. Over the last decade, on plays that are 4th and 8, the conversion rate has been, this is across the entire NFL over the last decade, cumulative number. 4th and 8, 39%. 4th and 9, 29%. So the longer the distance, it keeps decreasing the probability. So 4th and 12, the probability of converting would be sub 25%. In 2024, 3 of the 41 onside kicks that were attempted were converted. So it was 7.3%. So keep in mind, last year in the NFL, 7% of the onside kicks were converted. In the NFL, plays that were 4th and 12 were converted just under 25% of the time. So you are talking about going from 7% conversion possibility to about a quarter. That is fundamentally going to change the game. If you're effectively going to be taking you have about, it makes sense, right? It's a 12-yard play. What if you throw a ball and there's a pass interference? What if there's illegal contact, which is an automatic first down, or a defensive holding, which is an automatic first down? There's a lot of those circumstances that could happen on that 4th and 12 play. You can tell me Patrick Mahomes needs to get 12 yards? How often? It's just going to be obviously mathematically a much higher probability of converting on a 4th and 12 play than an onside kick. That's putting some statistics to it. So it's something worth keeping an eye on. The UFL is doing it, and the NFL could adopt it next month with the competition committee. Just something to file away and keep an eye on. All right, it is After Further Review, brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. I tell you every day, do business with someone. It's me and Terrio and Tilly and Joe and Trent and our whole great staff. I had a buddy, Randy, today shoot me a message earlier today. Said, hey, man, need a quote on a new roof. Can y'all come out? Absolutely. Easy. Get you into the system. We'll get someone out there, lickety-split. It's that simple. Parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. Go to the website. Fill out the form on the homepage. You'll see the video there. Kim Mulkey on the – go ahead and hit play on that, Paulie. You see the video of Kim Mulkey right there on the homepage doing her endorsement for us. We've done work for Coach Mulkey, members of her family as well. If Coach Mulkey trusts us, you can as well. It's Parrish Construction and Roofing. We have our full commercial division. I'll tell you, Matt Pearson, our commercial roofing manager. I literally don't know a human that knows more about roofing than Matt Pearson. He's the best. We recruited him from a company in the state of Florida to come work for us here at Parrish. He's the best. We love to bid your commercial job. We can handle any residential repair up to the largest commercial re-roof. It's Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Every year, the NFLPA puts out an annual report card. So the Players Association asks the NFL players to grade anonymously their organization. So they ask the Saints to grade the Saints organization, the Steelers to grade the Steelers organization, the Jets to grade the Jets organization. You understand it. On a handful of categories: ownership, coaches, treatment of families, team travel, and then areas in the facility like locker room, weight room, dining area, all that stuff. So there were 11 categories in all. The Saints got an A in 4 of the 11. They were 5th in the NFL in team travel, 9th in locker room, 10th in ownership, and 10th in strength coaches. So pretty good. They got poor marks on the cafeteria. They got a D-, but it's worth mentioning this was sent out before. Like, the Saints are doing a full-on remodel and expansion of the cafeteria. One of the reasons why why training camp moved this year out to California, because the facility, the cafeteria wasn't done. So that's not a surprise right now, but it's being modified. The Saints also graded poorly at head coach. Dennis Allen ranked 28th when it came to being receptive for feedback, 28 out of 32. And he was 23rd when it came to being efficient with the players' time. So Dennis Allen's own players voted him at the bottom of the NFL. Gail Benson, this is telling. Gail Benson received very high marks. 8th for willingness to invest in facilities. 12th for contributing positively to culture. 15th for building a competitive team. But the players did say they felt Benson was, quote, extremely committed to building a competitive team. What this tells you is something that I think we all know, something I said here, and I think we all know. Gail Benson is willing to spend money. That has never been a problem. I think Gail Benson checks a lot of boxes as an owner. Like, what I want from ownership is be willing to spend money and don't meddle. Like, hire people and get out of the way. Give them hire people, give them the resources they need, and get out of the way. And she does that. The giant criticism I have is ultimately when things aren't going well, it's on you to get the people out that are responsible for things not going well. That is the crux of this whole thing, because the root of the infection is very clearly Mickey Loomis, and he has got to be uprooted, and she's not willing to do that. And that's where I believe the criticism is just. But the players are telling you, man, the facilities, by and large, at the top, ownership, strength coaches, team travel, they take good care of us. Basically, the cafeteria stinks, but they're renovating that, which is why it was bad this year. But they feel the owner is positive for team culture, building it positive on building a competitive team. It's just the results haven't been there. Why? You had a bad coach and a bad GM. And this organization right now can't overcome that. But it's on her to have the willingness to change those things. And right now, she ain't doing it. And until you do, you're not going to win. All right, it's after further review. If you missed the show open today, we did start the show with something that's very disappointing for me. Apparently, Mickey Loomis, Jeff Ireland, Kellen Moore today met with reporters at the Combine in Indy. The Saints beat sort of covertly. They didn't meet on the dais in front of the entire collection of reporters there. But effectively, what Mickey Loomis said is they're committing to Derek Carr being back in 2025. At least that's what he alluded to in the way he said it. So that's a miserable feeling for me. I know for a lot of you as well who feel the way I do. It's not that Derek Carr is a bad guy. I think I've said this in every way I could say it. Looks like a good man, husband, father, all that stuff. And all that stuff's way more important than how you are as a quarterback. But as a quarterback, we've got an 11-year sample size to know what he is. And what he is a lower mid-tier, upper bottom tier starting quarterback in the NFL. It's never going to win you a championship. You want to go 7-10 this year, Derek Carr's your guy. You want to win a championship, you got to go find another quarterback, and that probably means picking at the top of the draft. But apparently they're going to waste another season with Derek Carr. Again, the open of the show today was committed to that. It'll shock you that I was a bit theatrical in nature. Actually, I don't know that I was theatrical. I was just very honest. We did play some sad music in the background, though. You want to get it, it's on demand at 1045ESPN.com or on the After Further Review Saints YouTube channel. What's up, Paulie? Yep. If you want to get the show open, you can on the AFR Saints YouTube channel. All that presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. A lot to do. Former Tiger Alex Milazzo in 30 minutes from right now. We will get a recap. There's a lot of Saints news today from the Combine. We'll get a recap of that here in about 15 minutes from right now. We'll break. Muse will do Tigers of the Pros. Still got to talk about LSU and Dallas Baptist tonight over in Arlington. Ton to do, and glad you're here. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know, we had Representative Dixon McMakin in studio just a bit ago talking about this proposed legislation that would eliminate state income tax for NIL deals in Louisiana. Of course, Gordon has been at the forefront of the NIL landscape. You know, he was the first to take that big, giant leap with the G teams, and not just football. It's been both men's and women's sports, and not just at LSU. It's been at schools for athletes at schools all over the state of Louisiana, because Gordon has touch points in every corner of this state. It's one of the things when you're injured in an accident, of course you don't want to travel to go see your attorney. That's why Gordon has offices all over the state of Louisiana. So no matter where you're listening or watching in Louisiana, if you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault and you need representation, Gordon is there. So go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, getgordon.com. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. I got a tweet from a guy named Joshua, who said you can't win with Rattler. You can barely cross midfield. First of all, I've never said you're going to win with Rattler. I want you to play Rattler, stink, and draft your franchise quarterback next year. He also said, I keep saying it as if anybody's paying attention to this guy on Twitter. You can't strip down. It almost never works. The Rams did a soft reset. Look how good that worked out. Plus, Carr is better than half the quarterbacks in the league. You can't sell tickets when you're trying to lose. Okay, a couple things. Number one, get the hell out of here with the Rams comparison. The Rams roster was so talented, they made a Super Bowl with young Jared Goff at quarterback. And when they traded for Matthew Stafford, that was a team that was loaded at receiver. Oh, by the way, on defense had Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Leonard Floyd. Bro, get the hell out of here with that comparison, because the New Orleans Saints roster isn't a fraction of that Rams roster. That what they felt they needed to get over the hump, and they were right, was a better option, a more dynamic option at quarterback. So they said, famously, F the picks, got Stafford, won their Super Bowl. Congrats, they were that close. You ain't that close, and Derek Carr ain't the guy to get you there. You're missing the point completely. Derek Carr is never, ever winning a Super Bowl. Ever. Low ceiling. Higher floor, low ceiling. My point is, if your goal, and I said this the day they signed him, literally, I may go back and find that show, the day they signed Derek Carr. If your goal is to win a championship, he's never getting you there, period. It's never happening. We got an 11-year sample size to know what he is. He's never getting you there. Okay. If that's the case, how do you get your franchise quarterback? You draft him. How do you get in position to draft him? You're going to lose and go to the top of the draft like the Bengals did when they drafted Joe Burrow. And they sucked for a year, and his knee exploded. But as they built around him in the draft and free agency, they made a Super Bowl the next year. There's a path, and the one you're on ain't it. I'll keep saying, because everybody's following you on Twitter to see what you're saying. Get out of here. We're brought to you by Evermore. I need some Evermore. I'm going to drink Evermore while Muso does Tigers in the Pros. Evermore. Evermore.com. Evermore.com. EVAMOR. Better form of hydration. Natural artesian water. Maybe Derek Carr needs some Evermore. Maybe that'll make him a competent quarterback. EVAMOR. Drink Evermore. Available at great local retailers. You can buy online as well at evermore.com. Find the store locator at the website. Hit the menu. It says find a store locator right there. Type in your zip code. It'll tell you the nearest location where you can go buy Evermore. All over the country. Got a national deal with 7-Eleven, not just here in Louisiana. I've had people live in Chicago. They've gone to grocers there and send me pictures. Hey, look what I found at a grocery store in Chicago. Evermore. EVAMOR. Evermore.com. All right, Muse. Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we'll start with a couple NFL notes. Duke Tobin, executive over there with the Cincinnati Bengals, he met with the media at the NFL Scouting Combine, said that Jamar's their priority, but the quote gained everybody's attention. Quote, he's going to end up being the number one paid non-quarterback in the league. Of course, Chase, in his fifth year, just won the Triple Crown in the NFL, sixth player since 1970 to do that. If you're wondering what figures look like for Chase to become the highest paid non-quarterback, well, look no further than the deal that Justin Jefferson just did. Jets was a 4-year deal, 35 per, $110 million guaranteed. Needless to say, Jamar's about to get paid. Ian Rappaport earlier reports that Devon Godshaw has been given permission by the New England Patriots to seek a trade. Rappaport also notes there's already been contact with interested teams. Godshaw just wrapped up year number 8 in the NFL. 120 games played, 109 starts. The next one likely will not be with the New England Patriots. Major League Baseball action, spring training a day ago. Dylan Cruz, 1 out of 2 at the plate, scored 2 runs, drew a walk. The 1 hit was a single. Action today, Austin Nola with the Rockies, 2 for 2 in that ball game. Did come around to score a run as well. And then Alex Bregman, 0 for 2 today, but he drove in both of Boston's runs, so 2 RBIs for Bregman, productive nonetheless. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. You can find Lee Michaels in Baton Rouge with 2 locations, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport. Thrill her, gents, with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, staple in our community for 4 decades, where all of Louisiana has gone to get engaged. Great community partners as well. It's rare you'll go to a charity event where you don't see that red box. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Awesome community partners, great product, where you'll always get the Lee Michaels experience, no matter your budget. Don't be intimidated. Go see our friends at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com. Okay, y'all, it is after further review. Former Tiger catcher Alex Milazzo here in about 15 minutes. Auto Locks coming up next hour as well. Stick around.
After further review.
As we put a button here on hour number 2, remind you about Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Hey, look, if this Mardi Gras, you're hitting the road, I know a lot of people, as the tourists come into town, a lot of times people get out of town. Maybe you're driving to Disney like so many people are. Before you hit the road, bring your vehicle to Shaw Bills. If you need new tires, Shaw Bills is going to sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. You know that. I've been telling you that for years. Also, maybe you need your oils changed. Maybe you need your tires rotated. Maybe you need that alignment. The brakes are squeaking. The check engine light's on. Whatever it may be. Before you hit the road, wherever you're going this Mardi Gras, make sure your vehicle is ready to safely get your family to wherever your destination is. Shaw Bills can help, and of course, they'll always treat you like family. So go to ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you or schedule service online at ShawBillsTire.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Matthew Stafford's future with the Rams is up in the air, but when it comes to the team, its first goal is to have them be their starting quarterback. Coach Sean McVay told the Fitz and Wit podcast their intention is to have Stafford still be the starter, but they're also trying to balance short-term and long-term roster decisions. They are giving Stafford's agent permission to speak to other teams about his market value. ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck.
I think the Rams are saying, we'd like you, but we're not sure the market is what you're claiming the market is. Go prove it. Now, here's the kicker. Sam Darnold is also represented by the same people. They're going to know the quarterback market, and they're going to be able to say, hey, this is what it is.
Saints GM Mickey Loomis indicated they'll stick with Derek Carr as their starting quarterback. 49ers GM John Lynch told reporters they've started negotiations on an extension with quarterback Brock Purdy. Baseball, Philly star Bryce Harper suffered a bruised right triceps today when he was hit by a pitch in a spring training game. He is expected, though, to be okay. NHL Rangers defenseman Adam Fox going on injured reserve with an upper body injury.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And now, a Progressive ad brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch to Progressive could save big with Progressive. This has been a Progressive ad from Progressive. See if you could save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE or Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, man!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Hey.
It's hump day.
Dramatically different start here at 5 than at 3.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
You know what helped, Muse?
Hump day.
What helped?
Finally coming to the point where where I disassociated with the New Orleans Saints.
It's hump day.
Maybe I'm in the stages of grief.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
What is it? It's like anger,
denial, right?
Bargaining is one of them.
It's hump day.
And then ultimately acceptance. Here it is.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Denial. Anger. Oh, I've been angry. I was angry this year.
You kind of just skipped denial, didn't you?
No. At the beginning of this football season, when the Saints were 2-0.
Yeah, fair.
I kind of went, is this Rich Gannon with the Raiders? Remember that in 2002?
Oh.
Rich Gannon was a career okay quarterback starter, but then he had an MVP season in 2002, went to the Super Bowl. I was like, is this Derek Carr? That was my denial.
Hump day.
Bargaining.
It's hump day.
Depression, that was definitely this football season, yes.
Mike. What
No
day
doubt.
is it, Mike?
Then ultimately acceptance.
Hump day.
And I think I've gotten to that point, Muse. I've just accepted.
You completed the cycle there.
They're going to be mid with Derek Carr this year.
It's hump day.
I'm going to watch because I have to.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
I'm not in any way going to be emotionally involved.
Hump day.
And I will not care about this team again until Derek Carr and Mickey Loomis are both gone.
It's hump day.
And quite honestly,
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
he hasn't coached a game yet.
Hump day.
But I think Ellen Moore, put that on a button, by the way.
Yeah.
Put that on
Okay.
now.
Yeah. I
Put
got it.
Ellen Moore on a button because heretofore, like Jim Everett was Chris Everett to Jim Kellen Moore is Ellen Moore to me heretofore. I'm off him. Hadn't coached the game, I'm off him. You couldn't even stand up to Mickey Loomis on the most important thing when you had all the cover in the world you want as a new coach at 36 years old. You got all the runway you need. Runway, support, everything. You can go double down on. Can't let myself get emotional, Muse. Oh, maybe, you know what? No. I've accepted it.
There you go. Moving on.
You know how much more enjoyable my Sundays are going to be this fall? I mean, to not be emotionally invested into what they're doing, it'd be great. Actually, I just felt some tears welling up in my eyes. Actually, I don't think I'm over it at all. I'm not anywhere close to over this. Okay. Alex Milazzo is going to be here in 10 minutes. We'll talk some LSU baseball. Tigers play tonight against Dallas Baptist. We'll get your preview of that game with former Tiger catcher. I do want to catch up tomorrow. We'll see if we can get snag Ross Jackson or someone up there at the Combine tomorrow, how everything's going for the Saints there. Call Ross right now. See if you can get him. Call him right now. Call Ross right now. See if you can get him. That's just it's just an oversight because while we focus so much on the Derek Carr thing, what else did they talk about? Like, what else did Loomis talk about during that media availability? I'm curious. Two things quickly here that I will touch on. There was a report from Nick Underhill over in New Orleans on football. Looks like Paulson Adebo's recovery is going well. They expect he's going to be a full participant in off-season activities, which is great. The unknown is that he's a free agent. Are the Saints going to re-sign him? For what it's worth, I went and looked up at Spotrac today. The market value for Adebo, 2 years, $22 million is where they list his market value. They have him ranked as the 15th best cornerback in the NFL, which is kind of crazy. But they comped him to Rasul Douglas in Buffalo, DJ Reed with the Jets, Tyson Campbell with Jacksonville, Jonathan Jones with New England. So maybe they re-sign Adebo. Okay, cool. Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, and Locked On Saints. Thanks for answering the call. I should have prepped you on this earlier and asked you to come on the show as an oversight. I just was melting down about the Derek Carr stuff and didn't even think, well, what else did Mickey Loomis say today? So what else did Mickey Loomis say today?
Yeah, so a couple of big takeaways beyond the Derek Carr news is I think you should expect this team to be more active in free agency than they were last season. And these two things, being active in free agency and keeping Derek Carr, kind of go hand in hand. Part of keeping Derek Carr allows you to be able to restructure some of or all of his contract and be able to save $30 million. That makes you able to, get under the salary cap by a significant amount without having to restructure other veterans and have money to spend. So I would expect them to be a little bit more active. Mickey Loomis said, I think that we'll be able to add a few pieces was a part of what he mentioned, and that he expects to be more active more so than last year. So I think that's a big piece. I wouldn't expect a full launch into a 3-4 defense. I'd still expect to see a lot of the kind of 4-2-5 nickel stuff, but for the defense to still take the shape of a 3-4 defense. So it sounds like speed rushers, nose tackles, things like that, still very much a part of this team's changing scheme moving forward. And then a couple of other quick be, it sounds like Taysom Hill's future's here in New Orleans. The big thing is just going to be all about his health. And then Trevor Penning, very likely to still be the starter at right tackle. They're very pleased with the development and growth that he showed when he moved over to that side last year.
Oh, that is very newsy.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I just spent much of the day bitching about the Derek Carr news. So do we have an update on Taysom Hill physically?
So all indications are positive. That's kind of the most that we know right now, but it seems that things are progressing positively. But it doesn't sound like there's a timeline at this moment, which makes sense, right? Coming off an ACL tear, potential like additional knee stuff if there was any, and everything. It's typically a 9 to 12 month healing process, and so him being ready for the beginning of the season might be a little bit of a stretch, but no cemented timeline at this time for that. But it sounds like the way that things are going and the way that things are progressing, that I didn't hear anything that seemed to signal that he wouldn't be available in 2025, for instance. And that when he is healthy and available, it sounds like the Saints want him here and want him in New Orleans.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, when the NFL thinks the Saints are going to ebb, they flow. It's incredible.
Always.
It's just this,
Yep.
this team is so countercultural. It's maddening. They think they're smarter than everybody, and the results just don't bear it out. But anyway, I'm going to go on a tangent again. You said so if they're not going to go full 3-4-D, or else I would stand it. I mean, that would imply that obviously you can't remake an entire side of the ball in one offseason, so maybe your pieces don't fit. So what are maybe the most important pieces then this offseason? If not a person, but then positionally?
Yeah, exactly. You're spot on, by the way, about like you're not going to completely flip this in 1 year. So it makes sense you would kind of do this as incremental change over the course of time. And so I would expect the positions to probably see the greatest change right now to be, or really not change, but addition, would probably be an expanded prototype at edge rusher, because you're not just looking for the big-bodied, strength, physical-based defensive tackle, or defensive end, rather. You're looking for the edge rusher that can stand up on the edge and be able to turn a corner. So I think that's a shift or an addition at the prototype there. And then I think the other role that gets added is nose tackle. When they do go into those 3-4 looks, even though they won't live in them, you're still going to run 4-2-5, you're still going to run your nickel stuff. But, when you do go into those 3-4 looks or those 3-3-5 looks, you're going to need that big body defensive tackle in the middle to be the nose tackle. So I think there would be a shift there. And then a shift at linebacker, which kind of correlates with the shift at edge rusher, right? Because you're looking at outside linebackers and inside linebackers. So you're not just looking at one prototype to cover and be a downhill run guy. You're also looking for who can rush off the edge. So I think those are the three spots where you see the most change.
So it wasn't just Mickey Loomis. It was Kellen Moore and Jeff Ireland. Anything specifically from Kellen Moore or Jeff Ireland today that stood out?
Yeah. I think for Jeff Ireland, really, he was the one that kind of laid out a little bit more about like different things with the prototypes. And I keep saying prototypes. It's really role more than anything else, just more roles available on defense, which makes more prototypes workable in your system, I think is really what it is. So he was kind of the one that was pretty detailed about that and what that could look like for the team and how that impacts him looking at, how do I add talent for my new head coach. And then for Moore, I think, further commitment around Derek Carr, in addition to what Mickey Loomis said. Moore also very complimentary of Taysom Hill, and going so far as to say that when it comes to Taysom, that when you have the opportunity to have that player on the field, that we'd love to have that. So that was part of the confirmation that the team does, see a future with Taysom. He also seemed pretty happy with the way that, and it would be shocking if he wasn't, but pretty happy with the way that things were going in terms of building out the staff. It sounds like a lot of his number one guys that he was going to go after, he was still able to get, despite being the last head coach hired. That's not super surprising, because usually you're having all those conversations with those guys before you ever take a job anyway. But that was a little kind of bit of insight into his role of hiring coaches, even though he was the final coach to be hired.
Make sure you're subscribed to the Locked On Saints podcast. Of course, you can read Ross over at LouisianaSports.net. Honestly, I just noticed this just published. So Ross Jackson's biggest takeaways from the Saints NFL Scouting Combine availability. It's right there at the top of Louisiana. Yeah. It's right there. If you want further detail on things we just discussed, you can go get it right now for free over at LouisianaSports.net. Hey, man, thanks. Appreciate it on short notice.
Of course, but anytime. You take care. Stay safe. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. Be well. Ross Jackson, great stuff as always. Make sure you're following Ross on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. Read him at LouisianaSports.net and go subscribe to the Locked On Saints podcast. Talk a little LSU baseball. Alex Milazzo is here next at AFR.
AFR.
Our Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Remember, when we talk about hormone replacement therapy, listen, it's HRT. They also have ED treatments. And listen, maybe you've tried some of the pills in the past for ED. It's not just that. They've got other treatments as well that might be more effective depending on your needs. It's really just about having that consultation and going for that conversation. But remember also with HRT, this is a simple blood test. And one of the great things about Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, when you start on a hormone replacement therapy protocol, you're gonna go have your 6-month blood labs drawn, and they foot the bill for those blood labs, which is incredible. They have the lowest prices, never any contracts, and you can trust the quality of care that you're getting. Listen, you can regain your youthful vitality. You can sleep better. You can burn fat and build muscle. You can have better libido. They can help. yourgoodwood.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details. Offer ends March 5th, 2025.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
A veteran lineup. There's a lot of college at-bats, in that lineup. Both there and some guys that have transferred in. Big arms on the mound, loud stuff. A great job developmentally as a program of both hitters and pitchers. And so I think we'll be tested, and I'm excited to see our guys rise to that challenge.
Jay Johnson with Josh Eads over WAFB there in Arlington as the Tigers getting set to take on Dallas Baptist here, an hour and 40 minutes away. Former Tiger catcher Alex Milazzo, good to spend a couple minutes with us here. How are you, man?
Doing good, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Appreciate the time very much. You see a game like this pop up on the schedule, heading on the road to a big league ballpark to take on a ranked team. What resonates there? What do you think about this?
Oh, I think it's an awesome experience for those guys, especially early in the season, getting to go on the road and, heck, you get to play in a big league ballpark. And for me, we got to travel around many different places and environments. And the only thing that really compared to playing at Alex Box was going to, a Minute Maid or going into Arlington and getting to play in big league stadiums and those atmospheres. But I normally all the guys got pretty excited when we got to go take those road trips, and I always enjoyed those.
Does the opponent matter, Alex?
I don't think so. I know Coach Johnson and that staff, all they really preach to us is you're never playing the opponent. You're always playing yourself and playing the brand of baseball. And we have a certain level that we expect to meet every game. And I think teams that take games and take the season on with that mindset are very successful.
What do you think? One of the big questions, there's a couple of positions on the field right now that are unsettled. There's been a rotation in right field, and there's been a rotation at your spot behind the dish. Now, you were part of a platoon there as well with a variety of different guys. Last year was Brady Neal, and there was Stravinsky and you. What's it like going through something like that where you're not sure every day if you show up to the park if your name's going to be on the lineup card?
I think that's something that's super important for guys, especially on this team. And you see it a lot in the SEC just because the rosters and the talent level in every roster. You just have to show up to the field every day ready to play. And I think showing up with that mindset and having that team first attitude, it shouldn't matter whether you're playing in the game. You're probably going to come in at some point in the game, whether it's defensively, offensively. So you really have to stay ready, every day and show up to the ballpark with that mindset that you're playing. And even when you may not be in the starting lineup, you got to stay ready to go. But at the same time, I think that kind of speaks to the depth of this roster because, it feels like in the outfield you got 8 guys that can go. In the infield, you got several guys. At catcher, you got several guys. And then even on the mound, you still haven't seen some guys. So I think that honestly speaks to the depth of this roster.
How do you get – is it possible to get meaningful reps if you're not in the lineup?
I think so. I definitely think so. I was part of some great teams while we were there and had some great teammates on the team. And, you always want to see it. That's probably the most difficult thing playing at a place like LSU is there's so many talented people on the field that I think the great teams have those guys that when they're not in there, they're pulling for that guy at their same position just as hard as you'd hope they'd be pulling for you. But at the same time, whether I was playing or anybody else was playing, you're always trying to give that other guy feedback, staying locked in the game, paying attention to the pitchers. That way, when you do come in the game or you do catch that guy next week, you kind of understand what's going on. And I think that's one way to get meaningful reps.
Alex Milazzo is with us. One of the reasons I've talked about this for a long time, Alex, I like having guys who are recently removed because a lot of times the coaching staff, a lot of guys on the roster. You're so close to it still that you're seeing a lot of things that are familiar, just looking through a different lens. When you look at the catchers that are rotating, I'm assuming you've gotten to see some games this year, but if you take Hernandez and Arambidi, what do you think individually those guys do well right now? What does Hernandez do? What does Arambidi each do well?
I look at a guy like Hernandez and even Arambidi. I was at the Nichols game. You watch those guys, and even though Arambidi's a freshman, he seems pretty poised back there and seems under control. And baseball's such an emotional game, and you're dealing with pitchers. So I think the biggest thing to look at is having a catcher back there that can control the game, control the tempo, control that guy on the mound, and kind of feel the pace of play, you know. I think it's super important I think as a catcher, you can kind of control the pace of play and the energy levels. I always like to bounce around, kind of upbeat, but at times, you know, whether you're on a road game or it's an intense moment, try to slow the game down for that guy on the mound or your defense, and really just staying one play ahead too, and really communicating with your infield, letting them communicate to the outfield, know where the ball's going on certain situations. And that's one thing I've seen out of both of them is they seem pretty poised back there. And especially with Hernandez back there, he has, you know, he's a pretty veteran guy. He's had a lot of games, a lot of college games, a lot of at-bats. So I think both of them are, you know, in control of the game pretty well.
Alex Milazzo is our guest. Yeah, I was looking at this. There's this video on Twitter, and it's this would have been at the SEC tournament. Playing Arkansas. This was in 23, and there's a ball. I can't see who was on the mound, but I mean, it was Skeens, and the ball goes like it's a breaking ball that goes like into the left-hander's batter's box against a righty, and I mean, the ball landed like middle of the left-handed batter's box. You dive to your right. I don't know if you remember the play, but we're showing it right here for those that haven't seen it. There was a sequence against Nichols where Schmidt had 3 wild pitches. If you're catching him, like what do you do there? Is there something like functionally that you do? Do you pop up? Do you say something to him? Like, how do you make sense of that sequence? Because it's just something you don't see a lot, Alex, where one batter, 3 balls go to the backstop.
Yeah, I think Matt, it's tough. It's tough for me to tell with Schmidt. I just don't personally know him and haven't called him, but I know in the past it really started for me in the fall when you're catching those first pins. And I think it's even more important nowadays with the transfer portal, and you're getting a lot of new faces every year. I think it's super important that you get to know each guy and what their tendencies are, what their habits are. That way, I know if I'm calling a slider with a certain guy, I know where his misses are. I know what his tendencies are. So you can kind of eliminate a lot of that, but you listen to coaches, Coach Yeski, you listen to him while you're in the pen, and you listen to him make the corrections. That way you don't have to burn a coaching visit, and I can make that correction without even going to the mound. I can, if a guy's flying open and that was his tendency, I could just kind of take my hand and point to my shoulder and tell him, hey, stay down the line. But at the same time, I think, maybe could have taken a visit there as a catcher, called time, go out there, settle down after the second one. Tough to tell too, when guys are throwing like Schmidt is at, 95 to 99, and, the misses might be a little bit bigger. It's tough. It really is. It's tougher now to catch in today's game than it ever was, just because the velo guys are throwing with.
It's great perspective, man. I was hoping to get something like that out of this conversation, just to like tap into your experience a little bit. And you know what that tells me also, Alex, is because you do have so many new guys on this team, like that right there, that's just time and reps, right? I mean, that's just guys having more innings together, more bullpens together to get to know each other. Like you said, like, I want to know his misses. Well, that's just reps, right? I mean, that's only something that can happen in time.
No, 100%. And I mean, I think that's the biggest, or that's the toughest thing in today's game at this level is, a lot of times you're only having players for maybe 1 year, especially with the transfer portal. So I think a tough thing too is kind of building that team chemistry and I don't like saying culture, but that brand of baseball, and playing with that guy. Like we were playing, I remember I had teammates, 3-4 years that we were playing together. So that's the toughest thing, and I think it's probably one of the best things that our coaching staff does at LSU is putting such a big emphasis on building that chemistry with each guy and getting to know each player on, not just a player level, but as a person. And, really, I guess, building that team chemistry, I guess you could say.
When were you comfortable with Skeens? Or were you ever comfortable with Skeens? Catching him?
No, it didn't take long. I'll never forget it. He was throwing his first bullpen in the pitching lab, and right off the bat, you could just tell that guy was different. And the crazy thing about Skeens was, in bullpens, he would sit, 88, 90. Really wouldn't get above 92 ever in a bullpen. And then you catch him in the game. And I remember the first game, it was like, oh, crap, this is different. Like, it was 100. His first pitch was like 100. And you go from catching him in the pen, and it's like 90, 92, and then bam, it's 100 right there in the first fall inter squad. And I was like, oh, okay.
It's a little different.
We had so many reps together, and we played so many fall games and bullpens, and I really tried to get out ahead of that, and build that kind of chemistry with him and understand him and what makes him tick, and get to know all of his pitches.
Hey man, a couple more things before you go. One, give me a thought on. We talked a lot about the defense. Give me a thought on the pitchers so far. What you've noticed so far from the staff?
Well, you got a lot of hard throwers in there, which that's awesome to see, especially this early in the season. And it's only going to get better as as it warms up outside. But I think just the depth of this pitching staff is as deep as I've ever seen it. Heck, Guidry still hadn't even towed the rubber yet this season. So I think that you got a veteran guy that hadn't even stepped foot on the mound, and it feels like we're just rolling one freshman out after another, and all these guys are pumping 95. But I know it's early in the season, but just watching it seems pretty dominant. Seems like it's overwhelming batters for the other team.
Yeah, man, it's been pretty good. Be a fun challenge tonight. Hey, before you go, Alex Milazzo is our guest. Tell everybody what you're doing now, man.
So I actually am doing outside sales with State Lumber, supplying contractors with all their building materials, whether doing custom homes, but also doing civil projects, all your big form work, supplying all those materials, and in the means of just now starting and getting rolling on a business start that me and my boss have started up together, roll-off dumpsters called Eco Dumpsters. So doing that and starting to roll, trying to stay busy.
Love it, man. Is there a website or something people can go check out?
You can actually, we haven't started our website for Eco Dumpsters, but we actually have State Lumber. We have a location right there just north of campus on Highland, and we also have a location right there across the river, right past Dow.
Very cool, man. State Lumber. Y'all can check it out. Ask for Alex. Maybe he'll tell you a story or two, show you his championship ring, something like that. Hey, man, we look forward to bothering you a bunch during the season, man. We appreciate a couple minutes. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, be well. Former Tiger Alex Milazzo. It's after further review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. Have that consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson and learn what your options are. I'm telling you, if you're like me, years ago I was told, man, you're not a great candidate for LASIK. Lo and behold, I went and met with Dr. Blake Williamson. I was a perfect candidate for LASIK. Wish I had done it years before. How many people do you know that had LASIK and have told you, best money I ever spent, wish I had done it sooner? If you know people like that and you're sitting on the fence, you owe it to yourself to go for that consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020. If it's not LASIK, remember, they got PRK. They have custom lens replacement. They had Evo ICL. That's an implantable contact lens. It's an alternative to LASIK, which is reversible, by the way. Learn your options, how you can get rid of contacts and glasses forever. The Williamson Eye Center can make it happen. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. All right, y'all. LSU and Dallas Baptist tonight. 7 o'clock first pitch there from Globe Life Field in Arlington. Tigers and the Patriots on the diamond for the first time ever. If you're in the Baton Rouge area, you can hear it on Eagle 98.1. affiliates of the LSU Sports Radio Network. I know ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles are LSU Sports Radio Network affiliates as well, so you can hear the game in those markets there as well. So the TV stream tonight is like Flow Sports or something. It's a paid deal. So if you're not going to pay to watch the game tonight or this weekend, great. Listen to the games for free on LSU Sports Radio Network, our sister station, Eagle 98.1, of course, in Lafayette and Lake Charles as well. All right, let me not got a break, y'all. We will come back. Waiting for the lineup to be posted. Hasn't yet done so just yet. We'll get some of your reaction. If you want to get involved, you can certainly do that. And I got to talk about the smartest thing that UNO has ever done in the history of their athletic department or the history of their school. It's AFR.
AFR.
River City's 1 hour air where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001 or 1hourbr.com. Tell you every day to look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town because your friends and neighbors trust River City's 1 hour air the same way that I do. Give them a buzz today, or better yet, you could log on, go to Google, and read the Google reviews. All the great 5-star Google reviews, and there are dozens of them because more people trust River City's 1 hour air than any other company. That's why they got double the amount of Google reviews. This one from Destiny Antoine said, Michael and his team did a wonderful job, and also thanks to David Twilbeck for checking to make sure everything was operating properly. Another way they go above and beyond to make sure that your AC, your heater, is in tip-top shape and running efficiently. It's River City's 1 hour air, 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Need service now? Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you same-day appointments for service, and we offer pickup and delivery of your vehicle from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. If you need sales and service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Jerry and Benny Payne began Central Plumbing Company out of their driveway in Tanglewood Subdivision. 50 years later and 4 generations down the road, we continue to serve Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, or hospitality, Central Plumbing is here 24/7, 365.
We want to thank our customers, family, and friends for 50 years of success.
And looking forward to 50 more.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
There's never been a better time to catch a John Deere deal from the crew of Sunshine. Ask us about our low monthly payment options on our tractor packages and let the good times roll. With equipment strong enough to power one of the world's largest celebrations, we've got your needs covered too. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com. Some restrictions apply. See dealer.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
The UNO men's basketball team is reportedly under a sports betting investigation. So on the same day that you had that very negative report come out, UNO did one of the smartest things you could possibly do. Just by the nature of the fact that I am mentioning on this show UNO basketball tells you how significant that is. Because here I subscribe to the old adage in radio and media, which is you play the hits. We talk about the things that the most amount of people are talking about or are interested in. That's what we talk about here. UNO basketball typically doesn't qualify. I don't mean that to be disparaging to the young people that work very hard to be very good. I don't mean that in any way. It's just the things that people largely care about here, LSU football and the Saints, and this time of year LSU baseball, and you play the hits. Kim Mulkey's team's going on a run to the Final Four. We're going to talk about that. Gymnastics wins the national championship. We're going to talk about that. So we talk about things people want to talk about. Well, when UNO hires Master P as the president of basketball operations, that Master P, Percy Miller, No Limit Records, multimillionaire many times over, a guy who was formative in rap and hip-hop culture throughout the 1990s, a New Orleans native, a guy who had a pro basketball career, by the way, as well, knows the game intimately, whose nephew is Victorious Miller on the LSU basketball team right now. Yeah, for a UNO program that is trying to stay relevant on a day when you had very bad news, in a time where NIL and rev share are where they are. I mean, let's not forget this is a program that at one point had Tim Floyd as their head coach, who became an NBA head coach. They have had good moments in that program for the Privateers. Master P, in this press conference today, talked about taking this UNO job.
We come a long way. Growing up in New Orleans, when I was a kid, I looked at the University of New Orleans basketball program. It was probably one of the best in the country. And every kid wanted to come here, wanted to come to the Lakefront Arena, and wanted to be a part of this. I'm just so appreciative and blessed that God has given me this opportunity to not only come here and coach and also be able to be president of basketball operations, but to rebuild this program. We're going to change this. This is our culture. This is our team. And this is our family.
I mean, it's an amazing thing because you're talking about a man who has incredible business connections worldwide, a network of influence and money that can be invested in and injected into that program. And it's hard not to look at this and think of this in the same way that when Jackson State hired Deion Sanders, it was brilliant because it brought a different level of attention to the program than they could ever otherwise generate. When you look at guys like Eddie George and Michael Vick, who have become coaches, it's bringing attention and awareness to programs at a smaller scale that otherwise they could never achieve. This is the same thing. And it's a guy who's doing it in the city where he was born, where he created a cultural phenomenon in the 90s and 2000s. I love this, man. I think this is awesome. Hat tip to UNO, hat tip to Master P, Percy Miller, UNO's president of basketball operations. You're just seeing college sports be treated now more like professional sports. My goodness, this is the same day where Jim Nagy, the executive director of the Senior Bowl, took a job as the general manager for Oklahoma football. Jim Nagy interviewed for the GM job with the Jets this offseason. And now he's going to OU. You're just seeing athletic departments have to build and structure themselves the way professional organizations are. And this is a great example of it. I'll tell you something else that just became official. This was reported earlier in the week by Wilson Alexander had it because he went to the LSU board meeting where this was approved. But LSU has today officially, literally just minutes ago, they have announced the NIL LSU Max program through Playfly Sports, which is something we talked about earlier this week. But LSU has now officially announced it. And it's a brilliant thing. That's going to create a new revenue stream for LSU. It's going to create more NIL opportunities for its student athletes above revenue share. And because it's sort of an independent third party, It's going to allow LSU to keep their hands clean of all these things, to make sure everything's funneled through the proper channels. It's just a new way of doing business. And I salute LSU. Look, I was critical of LSU early in NIL because they were very far behind. Like, a lot of y'all didn't like that I kept saying that out loud, but it's come to pass. They were. Like, it's come like LSU was very far behind in NIL. But in certainly the last, say, 12 months, 8 months even, there has been a dramatic ramp up in LSU's efforts, their efficiency, the way they're approaching this. And they've set themselves up to do very nicely in the revenue share era, complemented by NIL. All right, it's after further review. Our Thursday shows all throughout the year. Excuse me, our Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Let's not get to Thursday yet. Brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. YourGoodwood.com, YourGoodwood.com. Remember, if you want to learn more about HRT, how you can change your life, no matter what your age is, you want to feel like your younger self, regain that vitality, it's easy. It's affordable. They have the lowest prices, never any contracts. Simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for HRT. Learn more and start feeling like your younger self again. You can do it. It's 2025. Y'all, there's no sense in going through life being tired and sick and down and lethargic all the time. They can help. YourGoodwood.com. YourGoodwood.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We got one segment left here. No, lineup hadn't been posted yet, I don't think. I was looking at it a minute ago. I didn't see it posted. Let me refresh real quick. Nope, still not posted yet. I was hoping to be posted before it went off air for LSU and Dallas Baptist. But an hour and 15 minutes away from first pitch. We'll see the lineup when it gets posted. By the way, Hunt Palmer does have his pregame write-up, his preview for LSU and Dallas Baptist. It's up free at LouisianaSports.net if you want to go read it. It's there, along with a ton of great stuff today. Hester has his first ever contribution to LouisianaSports.net. He wrote about his NFL Combine experience, which is awesome. It's right there on the homepage. And Ross Jackson's biggest takeaways from the Combine availability today with the Saints brass. Everything always free at LouisianaSports.net. You can tell we're very proud of it. We put a lot of effort and work into this, and everything always is free, so you can get it there at LouisianaSports.net. Go indulge. Go read. Go read everything. Go read all of it. Okay, Otterlocks next.
AFR.
Getting closer to March. And if you're in the petrochemical, the refinery markets, you know March to October really is turnaround season. And our friends over at Action Industries, so proud to tell you about the Advanced Turnaround Group. Now, Action Industries, I've told you about now for a couple of years. And, of course, they do amazing work as an industrial contractor. But they also have the Advanced Turnaround Group. So this is a different set of resources. It is just for their turnaround group. It's under the same umbrella of Action Industries, but it is a completely different set of resources geared specifically at turnaround managers, turnaround people who spend their professional life in the turnaround world. So you got that turnaround coming up. You need someone to bid that job to get it done quickly and get in there and get the job done. You need Action Industries and the Advanced Turnaround Group. The Advanced Turnaround Group there at Action Industries. You can learn more online, actionindinc.com for Action Industries Incorporated. It's Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletic.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Wednesday edition of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. All right, one thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Auto Locks.
Auto Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance. Now's the time to get that AC unit checked before it really gets hot. Normally $179, just $79 when you mention Auto Locks. Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Good, Matt. How about you, buddy?
Doing awesome, man.
Just loving this weather, celebrating the restructuring of Derek Carr's contract over at Modesto.
They didn't restructure his contract. They just said they're bringing him back. But I guess, of course, they're going.
Whatever.
They're going to restructure. Well, of course, if they're bringing him back, they're going to restructure it. I mean, they can restructure it in one fell swoop, get under the cap. So, of course, which means we're going to live in this purgatory with this jack leg for even longer now. But anyway, let's not ruin my day. I was starting to get in a better mood.
Dentine, baby, Dentine.
You know
Bubble
what?
Up. Hubba bubba.
I'm trying to move on. You know what was good? A 2-1 night for the Otter last night. How about that?
Oh, no. Where you shop, that's a 3-0. Anywhere we looking. So, listen, Bet Rivers pays me to produce content. I have more than Bet Rivers account. It's all right, but you got to shop.
So it was Cincy 2.5. So I
minus 1.5.
So I lost Cincy with the hook. Okay. So if you got the 1.5, good on you. Then you had a 3-0 night. But I had a 2-1 night. But either way, profitable night, and I'll take the profitable night. But we'll give you the 3-0.
Call Mickey. He'll give you a better line. So,
Mickey don't want to talk to me. Trust me. Like he don't want to talk to me. I would like to talk to him, but he don't want to talk to me.
Me and Charlie on the opposite sides here tonight in the first one. We put it on the website. So these 5:30 starts. It does help to check. It's not the final line, but that's where we are a few hours before. So I got Maryland. He's got Michigan State. Both teams are red hot. I think it's just a tough spot. The fourth game of playing Illinois, Michigan, and Purdue. I think they'll be a little road weary. So we're split on that one.
It's, by the way, in game, it is Michigan State's leading 11-10 right now, 11:41 to play, and it's still 3.5 right now. Actually, in game did it 2.5. So I got Maryland 2, so got a little bit
better. So for those who didn't look at the website, who are looking right now, I played Maryland minus the points, minus 2.5 for sure.
All right.
My best bet tonight is Arkansas. Texas is a little bit better shape for a bid for the NCAA tournament than Arkansas, but there is no comparison to the current form. Arkansas is much better since they lost one of those, bland. They're just playing better. They're better coach. They're playing defense. They've covered 7 in a row. So that's my favorite pick. I love the line, how it shifted right now. It was at 5. We projected 2.5 now, Matt.
Arkansas 2.5. Yep.
Yeah. So all over that one. So I like Vanderbilt to stay close in the early game at 6 o'clock. So that's an add-on from what we had on the website.
Who's do you know the line offhand? I can check the update. No.
I saw it 7.5, 8.
Let's see. I am checking. I'll add it to the site. So Vanderbilt is 8.5.
Yeah, there you go. Even better. Just a lot of points for an offensively challenged team. So Vandy's good. I mean, it's tough place to play. I don't expect it to win, but I like the points. It's a lot of points for a quality team catching against an offensively challenged team. And I forgot, who's the other one I gave you?
Penn State, Kentucky, Notre Dame.
Penn State, obviously Indiana.
1 minute remaining.
Down double digits. In-state rival against Purdue. Came back and won double digits, but that's a little bit high. I would expect a very, very tight game. Definitely taking 6.5, 7 in that one.
All right. So the 6-pack for the Otter tonight. Maryland, that's an in-game if you want to take it. Notre Dame, Penn State, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Vanderbilt. If you missed any of it, all the picks are up right now for free at louisianasports.net. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
Good luck. We're at the original walk-ons on Burbank tomorrow.
All right, man. We'll look forward to it. We appreciate it. We'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you, Matt.
All right. That is Jimmy Ott. After further review. Thanks to all our guests here today. Thanks to Dixon McMakin, who joined us in studio. Thanks to Alex Milazzo. Ross Jackson, on short notice, joined us from Indy as well. You missed anything, you can catch AFR on demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Muse, Paulie, thanks. Shout out to Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Need service now? Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram can get you same-day appointments for service, and we offer pickup and delivery of your vehicle from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. If you need sales and service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.